You're listening to My Comic Life on the My Comic Life Podcast Network. Welcome back to My Comic Life, folks. That's right. We are your one-stop podcast for all things comic book, movies, sci-fi, pop culture, geek, nerd. If you're into that, you found the best podcast for all that and oh, so much more. Joining me each week in the studio, well, folks, he helped Eddie Brock and Venom heal their relationship and become one whole person. I don't know too many people who can do that. This man can. Alex, say hello to the folks there, Alex.
That's right, and we do offer the couples retreats over the weekend. If you guys would like to purchase these services, you can do them through the My Comic Life website. So please get in touch with Sam, and he'll be able to guide you in the right direction. But, ladies and gentlemen out there in Listen Land, we missed you. All right, we've been gone. We decided to take a little bit of a break last week. The realm of news for comics and movies and gamings and all that stuff does not stop, and I'm sure Sam has plenty for us to go over this week.
Yes, I do. We're going to start things off with our web-swinging friend. Whoa there, folks. Not that New York webhead. I'm talking West Coast, another universe, Venom. We got a trailer for Venom, Let There Be Carnage. And we here at My Comic Life, man, we picked just a hell of a week to take a break, because like Alex was saying, just when we thought we had a little room to breathe, no. Yeah, Sony Pictures goes, thanks Sony Pictures for consulting with us, by the way, goes ahead and drops the long-awaited trailer for, like I just said, Venom, Let There Be Carnage. This is the film sequel to the 2018 original that grossed $856 million worldwide, despite a thrashing by critics, man. The fans really helped surge this one at the box office, and I agree, this is one time where the critics were wrong and the fans were oh so right. This film is a lot of fun. Let There Be Carnage has been dubbed the second film in the Sony Pictures universe of Marvel characters. Now, Alex, we had Venom. Now we're getting Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Man, how many acronyms are we going to get with these films?
Oh, man. So I hope as many as they can pump out, especially with Tom Hardy playing as Eddie Brock, because he does a really good job. And I did enjoy. I saw the first Venom movie in theaters. I enjoyed it very much. I went in thinking it was going to be just straight dog shit, but I was pleasantly surprised. And I think you're 100% right. I think the critics got this one wrong. I think they went in. They've been spoiled by these huge blockbuster, great story, great pacing, great acting, Marvel films, and they they went into this not really. They forgot about the comic book movies of old, and the first Venom movie was really kind of a tribute to that. That's at least what I got out of it. What did you think? Did you see it in the theaters, or did you catch it on HBO or what?
I'm sorry to say, I let the critics scare me away from this one a little bit, even though I'm a huge Tom Hardy fan. Like I think that guy's a great actor. But I just didn't know how a solo Venom film was going to work after the third Spider-Man film. So yeah, I didn't catch it later until it was on Stars, and I was blown away. I was cursing. I was like, "Fuck, man!" I was like, "I should have gone to see this in theaters." Like this made me laugh. It had great action, great pacing, just great characters, and I loved the whole Venom Eddie Brock relationship in this, and I could not believe that I had allowed myself to miss it. But no, the first one was amazing. I loved every minute of it. It was just a really fun Marvel movie. Uh, Counter question to you though: do you think this plays into Marvel's multiverse direction, and will there be a tie-in at any point, Alex?
I do hope so. I think they're gonna still try and get this little lone universe off the ground. I know that they do have their Spider Verse property, so maybe seeing something different in that. But I think because you've got you said this was the second film in the SPUMC.
Oh wow,
You know,
man,
so
that's a mouthful acronym right there. But yes, good for you for rattling that off right there.
so
Um,
so it's you have this, then you have obviously you have Let There Be Carnage, and then I don't know if Morbius is probably going to be in there as well, and then obviously, like you said, at some point you've got to put Spider-Man in there. I'm just not sure that it's going to be Tom Holland. I really doubt that it's going to be Tom Holland unless I don't know. A lot of stuff is going to have to happen because it's kind of when you look at them, they're kind of two different styles of the same like superhero movie. It's one like Spider-Man is a little bit more lighthearted and kind of it deals a lot with the teenage side and basically what heroes have to go through, balancing being a superhero with their personal life. But Venom, on the other hand, was just like I said, it was kind of like you know, your old school superhero flick, and I just don't see them being able to marry those two properties. So I think we're gonna have to get a different Spider-Man if they do want to tie it in somehow into the actual Marvel multiverse. But what do you think? Do you think there's any hope that we're going to see Tom Hardy and Tom Holland?
Yeah, maybe a little bit because the upcoming Doctor Strange film is called Doctor Strange Into the Multiverse of Madness, so you could see Doctor Strange very quickly pop up into the Venom verse, and kind of be confused and be like, huh, what is this? Like what's going on here? And that could kind of leave a doorway open, sort of a back door for Tom Holland to pop up in this universe as well. Or, kind of like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, how we got like different iterations of Spider-Man, kind of being voiced by different actors, like you had like your Nick Cage and your Chris Pine and so on there. This universe could already have its own Spider-Man, but just, kind of slightly different than, the Tom Holland Spider-Man that we're getting, So, I mean, like you said, there could still be another Spider-Man, or, like I said, Disney could give Sony an olive branch here, or vice versa, and they could allow Doctor Strange to pop up in this one and claim that this is one of the multiverses in the Marvel world that's going on. But that's about the only tie-in that I think, because like if Doctor Strange pops up in here, then like maybe in like a future Spider-Man installment, yeah, like you could see Peter stumbling into a dimensional gateway that pops him into like this universe briefly. That's about the only way I see this tying in or working. But yeah, I mean,
You're
what do
absolutely
you think?
right because at this point it's they have decided to circumvent so much history between the two characters that you're basically going to have to bring in a whole new Spider-Man and write a whole new story for it because you're forgetting all about the history that Peter Parker and Eddie Brock share, the history that Peter Parker and the symbiote share. So it's like, you to kind of why not just drop back and punt and just hit the reset button and really do it your way rather than be constrained by what you've already dismissed. You kind of get what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
So
But hey,
I have a question for you. This is a little game we're gonna
uh
play. All right.
oh, yeah, no,
So
I'm just now seeing this in like the show notes, man. Like,
all
all
right,
right,
here we go. As you said, 856 worldwide for this movie, right?
right.
That was enough to launch Venom into the sixth most profitable release of 2018. And I'm gonna see if you can guess the top five, but I'm gonna give you a clue for each one. All right.
Okay, yikes.
This is the fifth highest grossing film of 2018.
Okay.
And I got these clues from it's a subreddit called Explain the Plot Badly. So,
Oh no.
all right, here we go. A guy raised by a single dad meets his jerk of a stepbrother and gets treated badly. Eventually, the guy finds his mother and gets a new suit. From there, things go swimmingly.
Ah,
Aquaman is the answer that
Aquaman.
you are
Oh,
looking for.
oh my gosh. His
Number
dad wasn't a
five.
jerk. He wasn't a jerk.
I know I
That's
said
what
meets his
threw.
jerk of a stepbrother.
Oh, jerk of a stepbrother. I thought you been raised by a jerk of a dad. I was like swimmingly. I was like fish. Okay, all right. I bombed that one. All right. Let's go
Number
number
four.
4.
Number four. This is the fourth highest grossing release of 2018. A movie about a popular group that did the soundtrack to the original Highlander.
Queen.
That's the group.
Or Bohemian Rhapsody.
There we go. Ding ding. We've got and Sam is on the board, ladies and gentlemen. If I was Steve Harvey, I'd be slapping you, going, "That's my boy. That's my boy right now." All right, let's go. The third highest grossing film of 2018. After a couple has lost their jobs, this incredible husband is forced to look after the kids at home while the wife is employed with a new company keeping her extremely busy.
Oh, that's The Incredibles 2.
Yes, sir. Sam, now you're gaining some steam, brother. I like it, dude. Incredibles 2 grossed $1.2 billion that year.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's a nice chunk of change. Number 2. A man stabs his cousin in the chest for wearing the same costume as him.
Halloween.
No, sir. You think Halloween's going to be a highest grossing film of 2018?
No, a man stabs his cousin in the chest for wearing the same costume as him?
Yes, sir.
Was it Get Out?
No, sir. What you're looking for is Black Panther.
Oh, Black Panther.
Of 1.3 billion.
Oh my gosh.
For Black Panther. Now, okay, this one. The number 1 highest grossing film of 2018.
Okay.
A group of people tried to stop a rock collector.
That's Avengers Endgame. Or Avengers Infinity War.
There it is. Infinity War, yes, sir. We'll have to consult the judges. And they're gonna give it to you, Sam. Good job, man. So you got 3 out of 5, brother.
3 out of
5. Avengers
5.
Infinity War hit the $2 billion mark. Just a little bitty game I wanted to try and throw at you. You did very well. My hat's off to you, sir. You did amazing.
Thank you. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm always saying, like, this is your number 1 podcast for all things movie. Man, if I couldn't get at least over 50% of that one, I was gonna scratch that one from the show intro.
But
oh
yes,
my gosh.
Please continue. Venom, Let There Be Carnage.
Yeah, the trailer for Venom, Let There Be Carnage begins in a very playful way as we catch Venom making breakfast for Eddie in the only way the ever-popular alien symbiote can, by creating quite the mess and appearing very proud of itself. The director of Let There Be Carnage, Andy Serkis, friend of the show.
Friend of the show, Andy, come on.
Andy,
on the show,
yes,
Andy.
come on, man. We would love to talk to you about Gollum, your role as Caesar in Planet of the Apes. I liked you in 13 Going on 30, man. I thought you played a great boss in that one. Myself personally. But yes, Andy Serkis, friend of the show, cited The Odd Couple as an influence on Eddie and Venom's relationship. To quote Andy, he's saying, they're figuring out how to be with each other. Eddie is struggling with Venom, who's like a maniac toddler, while Venom feels trapped in Eddie's body. Alex, do you like this relationship between the two protagonists? Is it comparable to the comic book version?
I'm not that familiar with Venom in the comics. I mean, recent Venom, yes, but like the actual Todd McFarlane, bare bones OG Venom, I'm not familiar with that. Cut of the character, but I do like this relationship between the two of them. I like how Tom Hardy kind of really, he does a good job playing the straight man in this relationship, while Venom is kind of playing the like you said, the maniac toddler, and so it leads to some pretty entertaining situations that I'm here for it, man. But what do you think, man? Do you like it?
Oh yeah, I'm totally on board.
Are you familiar with the character from the comic books?
I mean, I'm not hugely familiar with, Todd McFarlane's run on Venom. I have read a few Venom comics throughout my, illustrious comic book reading career that is still going on to this day. They're usually not this playful. Like, they're usually more kind of more dark and kind of focused on we must, kill, or we must destroy, or we must hunt down, like Spider-Man, or this or that, and maybe in later iterations they become more playful, because I can't say I need to go back and read some Venom comics, but I really do like this relationship, because this is what was established in the first film of them kind of playing off of each other, kind of like buddy roommates or buddy cops. So no, just to see this expanding and growing, and I totally get the Odd Couple vibe that Serkis is going for here, especially in that breakfast making scene where the Venom symbiote's making a total mess, setting the kitchen on fire almost. and Tom Hardy sits down at the table, but he's a little further away than Venom wants him to be, and so the symbiote like scoots him up to the table, and everything, and yeah, and like the breakfast looks like if it was like served on individual plates, like it's waffles and it's eggs, and like it looked good to me individually, but the way Venom just slapped it all together, it just looks like a mess to me, and I love that like the trailer opens up on a sign that is written in what looks like a permanent marker on a pizza box taped to a wall that says "No eating people." So yeah, no, like I said, this film already starts out with like great humor, and it's great that Tom Hardy is voicing the symbiote as well. I just love. I, that was one of my favorite parts of like the first film was not even like all the action things, but just was all the banter of back and forth between uh, Eddie and the symbiote, and I'm just glad that we are getting more and more of this.
100%, I agree with that. I do think that that's probably the best part. That was easily the best part of the first movie, and I hope that they do carry that on here into this sequel.
Now, I mean, this is the fifth and arguably biggest movie that Andy Serkis has directed. I mean, is there anything this man can't do? I mean, he has really done it all, Alex.
Oh, he's had a fantastic career. I was looking at his Wikipedia page, and it's miles long. As far, I mean, and like you said, he's only got 5 entries in the director, but this man has produced. He's voice talent. He's done motion cap. He do stunts. He's acted in tons of different properties. So, I I mean, this guy is just kind of a jack of all trades when it comes to this work, and I'm really glad that that he's getting that work and he's getting recognized as truly being one of he's a treasure. The man is a treasure, and I'm glad that he's one of the best, certainly one of the best mocap, one of the best voice actors of our time.
Oh, totally agree. Totally agree. I first got introduced to him in Lord of the Rings, as of course Gollum, and he totally embodied and brought that character to life and was amazing with it. He was in Peter Jackson's King Kong and like sort of like a minor supporting role, but still great there. Once again, great supporting role. And 13 going on 30, and then like he led the revival of the Planet of the Apes trilogy as Caesar, and those were just amazing films. So it's fun to see him,
And he was
like
Snoke too. You can't forget.
oh
He was
yeah,
Snoke.
sorry, he was Snoke too. Yeah, so like you said, he's sort of a jack of all trades, and I think from the trailer at least, he's got the right idea and like the right direction for this film. So it'll be fun to see his take on like the Venom universe. But yeah, going further into this trailer, it takes a dramatic shift as we are introduced to Woody Harrelson with a much better wig this time around as Cletus Cassidy, aka Carnage. Between Cassidy's creepy monologue and the unsettling footage of his execution/transformation, Venom Let There Be Carnage looks to portray the psychotic symbiote in a very comic accurate way. What did you think at our first look at Carnage, Alex?
I okay, so I liked the way that Carnage looked. I thought it was very comic accurate. I just wish they would have kind of saved that for the actual film, because that's really what everybody would have tuned in to see. Everybody would have waited for that, because that could have really been a big moment. And I know you know what I'm talking about here. I mean, like,
Oh yeah.
I appreciate them giving us the look, but after seeing how they did Venom, I trust them to be able to, to correctly portray Carnage, especially like harken back to what you said about Spider-Man 3. That Venom was just trash. But I mean, the one in this particular movie is, he's big, he's hulking, he's funny, and he's also very intimidating at the same time. But yeah, I definitely thought, Woody Harrelson was the great pick. I don't know if I would have went with him or if I would have went with somebody maybe a little bit younger. I don't know who I could have possibly picked, but it was really cool to see him in there. But what about, do you like the way that Carnage looks? Is he to your liking?
Uh, I'm gonna need to see a little bit more of him, but I can wait until the movie comes out to see more of him. In that first trailer, he's kind of backlit and he looks a little bit more orange. In the comics, he's usually blood red with like
Yeah.
a little bits of black like running throughout him. The one thing I did like is that like the Eddie Brock symbiote was more like a copy of Spider-Man. Like he shot webs, and I think sometimes he could turn his fingernails into like claws a little bit and like fight. But Carnage can like create like multiple bladed weapons out of like any part of his body, and so like seeing what I think is like an explosion behind him and all these bladed weapons popping out, that's very comic accurate. That's awesome. Great job on picking Woody Harrelson. I wouldn't have thought to have picked him, but now that I think back on it, go back and watch Natural Born Killers. Yeah, and Woody Harrelson plays a creepy guy in that film, and he does it so well.
Yeah.
That film's sometimes hard for me to watch, but like I've seen it multiple times, obviously. But yeah, so if he can sort of tap into like that creepy natural born killer side, he is going to like nail this perfectly. I remember like one of the more scarier facts I read about Carnage is in like one comic book. He started randomly calling people up in like just like the New York or somebody's phone book, and if you answered, he asked where your address was, and if you gave it to him, he showed up and he killed you. You know.
Let's see
yeah.
you try that shit here in 2021.
Hello.
First of all, good luck finding a phone book, but you know.
Yeah. Or I'm sorry, he didn't
so
ask for your address.
Yeah, right. Like, yeah. No thanks, buddy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
if you called and picked up, yeah, he just showed up at your door and killed you.
That's insane, dude. I didn't know that because I'm not really a Carnage. Like, I'm not a Carnage aficionado when it comes to those.
Carnage is a creepy character in the books if he's written the right way. Like he is serial killer level scary. But sorry, you were about to ask a question there.
So, speaking of Carnage, are you worried that he's going to just be a one-shot villain like Riot in the first film, or do you think Sony has much more in mind for Cletus Cassidy?
Oh man, I hope he's not a one-shot villain because kind of like, Spider-Man and, Venom and Batman and Joker, Venom and Carnage kind of have that like kind of iconic relationship. So I mean, it's fine if Venom like kicks his ass, but I hope they don't kill him and, they kind of like leave it open. In fact, like that could be your third Venom film, Venom 3,
right.
Let There Be Carnage Part 2, or whatever ridiculous name you want to give this film, But no, I think that would be a waste of Woody Harrelson's talent as an actor, and it'd be the waste of a really iconic comic book villain in Carnage just to like make him a one-off person, Are you worried that he's going to be a one and done villain?
All right.
Oh, you're already cracking one open.
All right, this is the theory, and you've heard it here first. Remember that you heard it here on MyComicLife first. So, the end of this Venom Let There Be Carnage, right? Venom's going to be standing over Carnage ready to kill him. Or Carnage is going to be standing over Eddie ready to kill him. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter for this theory. All of a sudden, a multi-dimensional portal opens up and sucks both of them in, transporting them to Earth 616, where we will have Spider-Man 4 Maximum Carnage. And
whoa!
That's it. That's all I got.
That is brilliant, man. Like that is fucking brilliant. That would be amazing. Yes, Sony. If you're a friend of the podcast, I know you're listening out there, Sony execs. If you don't do that with this film, you're missing out on a golden opportunity there. Wow. Yes, that is amazing. Oh my gosh! Okay, Alex.
That's all I got.
I'm about to say like any other mind blowing nuggets of wisdom you're gonna drop on us here before we move on?
No, nothing. I mean, I thought Shriek looked really good. They hid enough of her to where she's gonna be kind of one of those dark horses for me watching it. I'm gonna be really interested to see how they do her. But other than that, it's coming up quick, and I can't wait to see it.
Same here. And MyComicLife fans, now you know. And guess what? Knowing is half the battle.
Oh, nice. What a segue. What a segue.
All right. So, jumping over from the kind of Sony Marvel Cinematic Universe, we got our first look at a Hasbro film universe here, or a Hasbro film, Snake Eyes. Venom wasn't the only major motion picture to drop a trailer this past week. Paramount Pictures' Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins also released a first look at the origin story of Snake Eyes, arguably one of the late 80s/early 90s Saturday morning cartoons most popular figures. Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins offers a peek into the past of one of the franchise's most mysterious characters. Alex, I gotta ask, were you a G.I. Joe fan growing up?
Oh, 100%, dude. That was my jam. Like I don't know how many seasons there were of the original cartoon. I'm sure it was only like 2 or something like that, but I mean from my memory as a child there had to have been 50 because I watched that damn show every single day growing up. I loved it. I owned so many of the toys and I always wanted the general, but we never got the general, that big giant battle station that held like 40 Joes or whatever. We
Oh,
always wanted that, but
you didn't want the 6 foot long aircraft carrier that they came out with too.
I'll tell you, man, it was like watching this. I was like, because I didn't expect this trailer at all, and all of a sudden it just dropped it, and I was like, oh, they were making another GI Joe movie. That's crazy, and it's just the nostalgia just comes flooding back because I absolutely loved that show growing up. Did you catch the Joe fever back in the day, Sam?
I did catch the Joe fever. It didn't come on Saturday mornings for me. I had to catch it on USA on like on mornings before I was going to school, or like if I was
Mm.
lucky, like they would have episodes out on video. So like I remember going to like the video store and checking them out, and like I had a couple of the figures and a couple of the vehicles, and like I played the original NES game. So yeah, I definitely had Joe fever back in the day. But I gotta ask you, Alex, who was your favorite, or who were some of your favorite GI Joes?
I mean, obviously there was, so you mean like besides Snake Eyes?
Yeah, like besides Snake Eyes.
Okay, so I would say I liked Roadblock a lot. I thought he was really cool, and I really liked Sergeant Slaughter growing up. Like he was my jam, dude. Who was your guy?
I mean, aside from Snake Eyes, I got to go with like Roadblock. Oh my gosh, there's so many to name here. Flint. Yeah, I always like Sergeant Slaughter as well. And then I'm blanking on one guy. He was their main naval guy, but he was always like a wisecracking, like smart ass
Shipwreck,
guy. Shipwreck, yes, I always used to love
the
when
man Shipwreck, dude.
Shipwreck was in charge of a mission. Like that was always hilarious, and I just liked a lot of the GI Joe like ninja section. Like they always made their ninjas look really cool and like really badass and everything. So yeah, definite GI Joe fan. Are you familiar with the first two GI Joe films, Alex?
Sadly, yes. I should have actually saved my beer for that because man, I did see Rise of Cobra and I did see Retaliation. I think I saw Rise of Cobra in theaters, and it was just always so odd to me that they were like, I don't know who the target audience was for those first two movies. You kind of get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because it's
yeah.
like if it was for fans of GI Joe, then they should have just made a damn GI Joe movie. Do you take like a handful of Joes? You take your Snake Eyes, your Duke, your Roadblock, your Shipwreck, Baronet, or not Baroness, right? Was the
Oh
good
yeah,
one or the bad
Baroness.
one?
Baroness became good at the end of the first movie.
And then you have Scarlet, right?
Yep.
Okay, so you just take a handful of Joes and you do that. Don't be introducing like these weird super suits and have Channing Tatum and Marlon Wayans running around the streets like doing cartwheels and stuff. It was just so weird to watch that. But and then with Retaliation, it was just even more weird. I know that they brought in Bruce Willis and that was really kind of cool, and they did bring in The Rock, but that was kind of like early Rock. That was like pre, you know, rock renaissance, I guess you could call it. But like I said, it was just more aggravating than anything the first two movies, and it's if this one wasn't like completely centered around Snake Eyes, I would have just like passed by this movie 100%. I would not be. I don't even know if even Snake Eyes being in it is enough to bring me to buy a ticket for this, because it's just they failed so hard on the first two movies. Have you seen them?
Oh yeah. Agree to disagree a little bit with you on this one. Yeah, the first one is the first one is like just pure cheese, pure schlock. Channing Tatum's even been on record that like he didn't want to make this film, but he was contractually obligated by the studio to do like 3 films for them.
Uh,
And this was like one of the 3 films that, like he had to do, or else like he would have been like paying out like I think like Paramount like millions of dollars. But he no way wanted to be in that GI Joe film. Let me tell you, get drunk and watch the first GI Joe film, and then you'll find it like fun and hilarious. The second one I actually liked. Like I actually bought the second one on Blu-ray and have no shame in saying that. Like
oh no.
the second one's fun, yeah, with The Rock and Bruce Willis and all that stuff. Yeah, man. Like I thought, and also. What was it? RZA from the Wu-Tang Clan in there? Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually thought the second one was just kind of like pure popcorn fun. I enjoyed that one. So no, I mean like get drunk for the first one and just kind of pop some popcorn and have fun expectations for the second one. But I didn't hate the second one. In fact, I was hoping we'd get a sequel to that second
No.
one.
Oh man, you're definitely right. We are gonna have to agree to disagree, because a Joe purist like myself would never bring themselves to commend either of those two
Oh
travesties.
my gosh. A Joe purist. Wow. Wow. All right there. All right there. Well, Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origin stars Malaysian actor Henry Golding as Snake Eyes, a tenacious loner who is welcomed into an ancient Japanese clan, and I'm gonna butcher the name here, called the Irish Kagi? The
Arashikage?
Arashkagi, thank you.
Yeah.
After saving the life of their heir apparent upon arrival in Japan, the Irish Kagi teach Snake Eyes the way of the ninja warrior while also providing something he's been longing for, a home. But when secrets from his
Aw.
past, yeah, aww. But when secrets from his past are revealed, Snake Eyes' honor and allegiance will be tested, even if that means losing the trust of those closest to him. Now, this is an updated and very different origin story than the Marvel Comics counterpoint. What do you think of the rewriting of the history of such an iconic character?
I think it's one of those catch 22s, because you can't really stay true to the original story of Snake Eyes, because I think he was like a Vietnam War vet or something like that. And if you try and get, because with it being a Hasbro um, property, the main point of it is to sell the toys. You make the movie so you sell the toys, and the kids aren't gonna really be able to like what's the word? They're not gonna be able to like compare their own lives to. They're not gonna be able to relate. There it is. They're not gonna be able to relate to this character if they don't even know what the hell the Vietnam War was. So to they needed to update it, and I did like that they cast Henry Golding. I thought he was pretty good in what was it, Crazy Rich Asians. Um, so yeah, I think so. I think that it was needed, but it is what it is, man. I just hope that they do somewhat of a good job on it. But what do you like? Or are you gonna pull the Joe purist card on me now?
I'm gonna pull a little bit of the Joe Purist card on you. Yeah, I'm kind of torn on this. Like, I wouldn't. Oh, man, if I was on the Hasbro like film board, I would not have said, "Let's launch our GI Joe." Or like relaunch our GI Joe film universe with a Snake Eyes origin story. I mean, Snake Eyes, came to a ninja clan, learned the ways of a ninja, and took a vow of silence. And will not speak. And I always thought, that added a great kind of mythos to this character, because yeah, like I did wonder for the longest time. I was like, who was this guy? Why did he take this vow of silence? And That made him a much more intriguing character to me. So I'm not totally sold on this Snake Eyes film. Like if I was gonna do a GI Joe film, I would have gone, kind of like the way that the Kingsmen are going with, like, the founding of the Kingsmen. I would have gone with like the founding of GI Joe. With like
Mm-hmm.
Joe Colton himself. Like kind of like recruiting the first Joes and training them and everything like that. That's what I would have gone with. Now, don't get me wrong. I love ninja movies. I love kung fu. I love martial arts films. I own a ton. I watch a ton, and I mean, I'm excited for like the fight scenes in this film. I just don't know if this is like the way I would have gone. And speaking of, changing his origin story, Alex, asking you, a GI Joe purist, his mask is off for a sizable portion of this movie. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't like it, man. I get why you do it. Henry Golding, he's a very handsome fellow, and I'm sure that you're gonna want to see his face on that screen. There's a lot of people that are gonna want to see his face on that screen. I get that it's an origin story. He hasn't really put on the mask or taken the vow of silence or any of that yet, but it's still um, it was such a large character trait of the original Snake Eyes, and like you were alluding to, the best part of the character was the mystery behind the mask. It was like you didn't know who he was, so he could relate to anybody, but that's gone now. So um, I don't like it. I don't like the mask being off, man. I like my Snake Eyes behind a mask. Mask up, dude. Hashtag. But what do you
Yeah,
think, Sam?
no,
You
no,
mask
100%
on
agree with
or
you.
mask off?
No, I mean, like, his mask needs to be on. He needs to be the silent ninja that he's always been from the time the character was first introduced to, I don't even care, like, G.I. Joe Extreme to G.I. Joe Sigma 6. Snake Eyes has always been there, and he's always been the quiet, stealthy character in the background. So to see Snake Eyes walking and talking and not wearing the mask, it's a little disconcerting to me, Like I'm not I don't know how I feel about this, man. As you said, as GI Joe purist, there was a greater depth of character and a greater mystery there, like when you didn't know the man behind the mask fully. Now, that being said, though, this trailer looks to be filled with plenty of martial arts actions, incredible stunts, and over the top action, with famed actors slash stuntmen slash fight choreographers like Iko Uwais and Andrew Koji on board. This movie looks to be packed to the brim with explosions, sword fights, and overall just badassery, man. Uh, Alex, can third time be the charm to get this franchise off the ground?
Lord, I hope so, man. But I just don't. If I had to put my money down on it, no, I think this is another flop. That's just personally for me. What do you? I mean, you said you liked the second one, so you got hope for the third?
I don't know. Once again, this is just not where I would have gone to relaunch this universe, and nothing against the character Snake Eyes. Like, I think he's a great character. I think he's an amazing character. Uh, but just not the character I would have gone with to, like, like relaunch the GI Joe franchise or try to like launch a GI Joe universe. The only way I'm gonna be okay with this movie is if they don't try to make a Snake Eyes trilogy. Is if, like, okay, I will I will give you Snake Eyes talking and Snake Eyes without a mask, but only if at the end of this film he takes his vow of silence and he puts the mask on, and then like we get launched into a GI Joe, like, connected, like, bigger GI Joe team movie. If you try to make a trilogy out of this and you got Snake Eyes taking his mask off and talking in the second film, I'm out. No more. No. Done. See ya. Bye. You know?
So let me ask you. So ultimately, all right, this now it's time for the pen to hit paper. Will you buy a ticket? Will you wait to watch, or will you be skipping this movie altogether?
I will not be buying a ticket on opening day. I'll be reading reviews from my favorite YouTubers or like my favorite websites. If they give it favorable to positive reviews, maybe that Sunday night I will get a ticket and I will go see it. But I like the bar is set so low for me on this film, and that's nothing against like the actors in this. It's just the character that you're trying to take on. It's just like you said, as like a GI Joe purist, he's he's got that oath of silence, and man, just to see you guys try to like change that, just I don't know. I'm just not sold. What about you, Alex?
I don't know. And I hate that we kind of sound like this whole. Please don't get it wrong, folks listening. This is not one of those hashtag not my snake eyes type of scenarios. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
this is it to me. Like I said, I've just been burned too many times by this franchise. So I. I'm kind of like you, I guess. If there's a bunch of reviews come out that's just like, man, you got to see this, you got to see this movie, then I probably will go see it just because it's been so long since I've been in the movie theater. So I'm just kind of dying to go see anything at this point. But nah, I guess it definitely gonna wait to watch. That's my vote.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. We'll wait to see, crowd reaction and reviewers' reaction. Which reviewers aren't always right, but uh, but yeah, if I go, it's going to be on like Sunday or like the following week after it's come out. I cannot guarantee you that like I'm going to be center row Friday when this drops, man. Just can't do it. I'm just too much of a Snake Eyes purist here. And this just doesn't seem like the Snake Eyes. Oh crap! I'm actually gonna walk into that whole "not my Snake Eyes." Oh my gosh, Alex, I'm walking into that. Hashtag you just said that we were not doing. Man, yeah, I nearly just said "not my Snake Eyes." Oh my gosh. No, I hope this does well. I hope this film kicks ass at the box office, and I hope it breathes new life into a connected G.I. Joe universe. I'm just gonna say this is not the character I would have launched that universe with personally. That's just me.
Right.
But all right, folks, jumping from the G.I. Joe universe into the DC universe, DC released their trailers for the famed DC comic story The Long Halloween. Inspired by the iconic mid 1990s story from Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale, the story begins as a brutal murder on Halloween prompts Gotham's young vigilante, the Batman, to form a pact with the city's only two uncorrupt lawmen, Captain James Gordon and District Attorney Harvey Dent, in order to take down the Roman, head of the powerful Falcone crime family. But when more death occurs on Thanksgiving and Christmas, it becomes clear that instead of ordinary gang violence, they're also dealing with a serial killer, the identity of whom, with each conflicting clue, grows harder to discern. Few cases have ever tested the wits of the world's greatest detective like the mystery behind the holiday killer. Alex, what did you think? Do you think the animation was the way to go with this story? Or do you think animation was the way to go with this story?
Personally, no. This is coming from somebody that does enjoy the DC animated movies a lot, but I just feel like something as beloved and as like this is like a much more mature Batman storyline. Like you have your cutesy kind of line storylines, and then you have this, which is more like way more adult, kind of mystery oriented, with like lots of different strings and different theories and everything that came along with it. Because if I remember correctly, this took like 2 years to write this, or not to write, but to tell the story, like way back in the '90s when it first came out, something like that. It took like a crazy amount of time to actually get this whole story out, and I thought that they should have waited, especially with the reboot of the Batman franchise. They could have definitely, since I end up blanking on his name, Team Edward.
Robert
Um,
Pattinson.
yes,
I fired that out
yes.
way too quickly.
It's a Team Edward, baby. Um, he with him being so young and being able to play a young Batman, and I think Matt Reeves, the Batman, he is playing. We do get to see kind of his struggles from the first years. They missed out on an opportunity to tell this story, and to get that big ensemble cast in a DC film that would just be Batman, but you could bring in all kinds of people to play the different criminals in his rogues gallery in a story like this. And I just thought it would have been a lot better told as either some kind of a mini series or like a two movies, like live action movies. Is just personally what I think. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm still gonna see it, but I just would have rather have seen a live action version of it. But what do you think, Sam?
I can see both sides of it. Like, I see your side here. They are definitely burning a potential storyline for future Batman films by releasing this as an animated one. And this is such an iconic one that you could have given it the big screen film treatment, and fans would have lost their shit over it, myself included. And
Absolutely.
it would have been amazing to see, to see this done. That being said, DC has had a very successful run in their animated universe. Dare I say, more so than Marvel. And I'm
Oh,
excited for
no
this.
question on that.
Yeah, I'm excited for this. What's selling me on this is the animated version of The Dark Knight Returns with RoboCop actor Peter Weller voicing Batman. There,
Hmm.
they I mean, nobody can like totally like live up to like that Frank Miller story, but they came close to almost like matching it panel for panel from what I read from the comic, and so like it's for films, and they gave that film a very adult theme. Like you still get to see, spoiler here, in the Dark Knight Returns, Frank Miller. Uh, Batman breaking Joker's back, and then to try to frame him for murder, you get to see the Joker laughing, and then he snaps his own neck. And you hear the bones cracking and breaking, and the Joker mockingly laughing at Batman, and you get to see this all on screen. So DC is clearly not afraid to take at least as close to a hard R approach with these films as they can
And I
get.
think this one is both part one and two are rated R.
Good for them. Then yes, yes. Then awesome. Yeah. No. Then yeah. Then like I'm fine with them going the animated route, but yeah, that's always going to leave me with a lingering question of like what could have been if you had really applied this to the big screen here. Um, Follow up though. Did you read this as it came out in like the mid '90s? In comic book form. Like, do you remember anything big from like this whole story arc?
I just so I wasn't that much into DC when this came out in the mid '90s. I was like, I don't know, like 10, something like that, 10 years old maybe. But and I was very much an Image kid. Like that Image was my
Ah,
jam.
okay.
Um, but I do remember because I was an avid, like a rabid Wizard magazine reader, and I remember The Long Halloween was in Wizard magazine for just months and months and months of them just recapping the story, and I always thought it was really interesting. I've never actually read the whole story. I've seen, I've read bits and pieces and kind of synopsis and everything like that, but I do need to go back and I do need to read it. But I just and I when you see it in the bookstore, it's just so friggin' like thick. That damn graphic novel is just big as shit. But what do you? Because I remember in a previous podcast, and I know all of you out there remember from a previous podcast that Sam proclaimed that the Long Halloween was one of, if not the favorite Batman story that he has ever read. So please, Sam, enlighten us.
Oh my gosh, this is like the greatest like who done it story ever. Yeah, like I picked this up at my local comic book store, kind of based on the recommendation of a comic book store clerk there named Freddie. Shout out to Freddie, you sir are awesome. Um, But yeah, and I just remember paging through it, and just like Batman, I was like, oh, okay, so it's got to be somebody like within like the Falcone crime organization. It's got to be him, right? And all of a sudden, I was like, no, okay, crap, like who is it, And I'm not saying like I'm the greatest, like who done it, like mystery solver, but usually in like comic books, like I can kind of figure out like who the bad guy is and like where it's going. And the great thing about this book is that if you don't spoil it for yourself, like you really have no idea like who this person is, and like it's just so well written. It's such a great mystery, and it intertwines some great Batman villains in there, like Joker and Poison Ivy and Catwoman do show up, and yeah, like you do get to see sort of the origins of Two Face. But one thing I love about it too is that it's set early on in Batman's career. So I mean, Jim Gordon and Harvey Dent are still kind of weary to be working with Batman, and them trying to like form a working relationship. Like all that is just great to see, and it, like I said, it's just a great whodunit mystery because like you really don't know who is doing this, and like the more you read it, like there's so many misdirects in this book. It's just it is a great book, and so yeah, so I highly recommend reading it before this. But man, we are getting some all-star voice talent for this one, Alex. Let me tell you, Jensen Ackles from Supernatural and Batman Under the Red Hood, friend of the show. Jensen, come on sometime. We would love to have you on here. Leads an all-star cast as the voice of Batman slash Bruce Wayne, alongside the late Naya Rivera from Glee as Catwoman, Selena Kyle. Josh Duhamel of Transformers and Las Vegas fame as Harvey Dent slash Two-Face. And then we get Katie Sackhoff from The Mandalorian and Battlestar Galactica and Batman Year One. Love Katie Sackhoff, another friend of the show. Katie, come on the show sometime. We would love to have you on here. She is playing Poison Ivy. We get Titus Welliver from Bosch and Deadwood as Carmine Falcone, and Troy Baker. Yeah, Troy Baker, great voice here. From The Last of Us and Batman Arkham Knight as the Joker, among many, many more. Has this got you excited, Alex?
Yeah, I definitely am interested to see because, like you said, there's a lot of voice talent here. There's some pretty heavy hitters, and you know, look, in the show's notes if you want to read who all is in here because we couldn't possibly fit it all in
Yeah.
the show. I do have a question for you, like to piggyback on this one. But first, I'd like to ask, do you like Jensen Ackles as Batman, or are you a Kevin Conroy kind of guy?
I mean,
And then along the same lines, the Troy Baker versus Mark Hamill. Do you have thoughts on that?
so, I mean, I've seen Under the Red Hood multiple times. Jensen Ackles did a great job as the Red Hood. If I had a choice between Conroy and Ackles, of course, you got to go with Conroy first. I mean, like, he's got that iconic Batman voice. He was one of the first characters to kind of give Batman separate voices, kind of the Bruce Wayne voice and the Batman voice.
Yeah.
That being said, though, no, I am thrilled and excited and can't wait to see Jensen Ackles' take on Batman. Like I said, he was superb as the Red Hood in Batman under the Red Hood. So no, I'm really excited to see him be Batman. Troy Baker versus Mark Hamill. I've heard Troy Baker do the Joker before, but no, hands down, always Mark Hamill as my Joker. I mean, that guy takes a Joker to like a really scary, awesome level. Now, once again, will Troy Baker do the Joker justice? Yes, he will. But I mean,
Oh, absolutely.
hands down, I will always take Mark Hamill as the Joker. I mean, like he ranks among like my top 3 favorite Jokers ever out there. So yeah. What about you though, Alex? Same question to you. What do you think?
I'm willing to give Jensen a shot at it. I haven't really. I haven't seen a single episode of Supernatural.
What?
Like in its entirety, dude. It's just not really my kind of show.
Oh
Like
my gosh!
I don't know what it is about the CW, dude, but I just can't get into it. I'm sorry. Like it is
Oh,
to me, it's
I'm
just
coming
lame.
over to your house after the show, and I'm bringing all 15 seasons with me.
Oh God, please just kill me now.
I
But do I have if I had to make a choice? Yeah, I'd go with Kevin Conroy, of course, because he is the quintessential. He's my Batman. He's the Batman that I grew up with. He's fantastic, and he really nailed, like you said, the difference in like the little voice inflections and the kind of swagger that Batman has versus the very business and stoic like tone that Bruce Wayne has. And then Troy Baker is a phenomenal voice talent. The man is, I mean, the man will not, regardless of what we say, the man's still going to be cashing hella checks. So, um, but as far as him versus Mark Hamill, yeah, I mean, there's no question there either. Mark Hamill he's also the Joker that I grew up with, and he is the kind of the prototype when it comes, and that's who Troy Baker tries to emulate when he does his
Oh
Joker voice.
yeah.
That is Mark Hamill that he is trying to
Oh
be.
yeah.
So
When I first heard this trailer, like for a second there, I was like, wait a minute, is this Hamill or is this Baker? I knew it was one of the two, but I mean, he did such a good Hamill there that he almost fooled me.
absolutely, and in Arkham Knight, that's the whole reason that they brought him on was because he could nail that Mark Hamill Joker. So
Yeah.
um, really, honestly, it's a toss up when it comes to the Joker for me because Troy Baker is like he is the one of the greatest talents in voice acting. So my hats off to him. My hats off to Jensen Ackles, and I'm super duper interested in this movie. I think it comes out in two parts. I think one comes out at the end of July and one comes out at the end of August, if I'm not mistaken. Um, so has this gotten you excited? Are you gonna watch this? Or are you gonna, it sounds like you're gonna watch it. So I mean, we're talking day one, uh, Blu-ray completest version, or what are we doing here?
Probably not day one Blu-ray completist, but if I can go on Amazon and like check it out, or if I can Redbox it, yes. And then like if it blows me away, like I'm hoping it will, then yeah, I will probably go out and buy it. But I will. This would definitely be like if video stores were like still around. Like this would be like a drive to a video store on like a Friday night and like check this out for sure. I'm excited. I'm totally watching. Are you watching, sir?
Yes, I like you. I will probably, knowing these bastards, they will probably end up making it to where you can't rent it. You have to buy it on
Yeah.
Amazon.
Yeah, yeah, that was
So,
that was that was my other thought was like a $5.99 Amazon rental.
and we'll see what happens when with this whole Warner Brothers and HBO thing, because I think there's some crazy stuff going off with that. We can get into it some other time, but
Yeah,
um, hopefully they'll be able to put it on HBO Go, and I'll just be able to watch it for free. So that's
yeah. Hopefully, I was kind of hoping for that as well. But hey, folks, this wraps up another great episode of My Comic Life. As always, we thank you so much for listening. Keep liking our Facebook page. Keep commenting on our Facebook page. Get your friends, get your grandmother, get your uncle, get your kids to like our Facebook page and get their friends to sign up as well. Also, if you want to hear us talk more about video games, or if you want to hear me and Alex debate, who would win in a fight, Superman or the Hulk, email us your show ideas. We do listen to them and we do implement them here. But email us your show ideas at mycomiclife@gmail.com. Again, folks, that awesome email address is mycomiclife@gmail.com. We also have a YouTube channel where we put out weekly episodes and are going to be expanding more content on there as well. So just look for that oh so fabulous, oh so awesome My Comic Life logo on YouTube and click that subscribe button. It really does mean a lot to us and it helps grow the show. We are coming back on iTunes soon, fingers crossed. That will be sometime this week. And oh man, almost forgot. Shout out to our My Comic Life fan of the week, Heather Shoffett in Denver, Colorado. Heather, we thank you so much for listening, subscribing, and emailing us your ideas for the show. Heather, you are our My Comic Life fan of the week. Salute to you.
salute to you, Heather. Thank you for checking us out.
Yes, thank you. And as always, folks, that wraps up this episode of My Comic Life. So, ditch the herd, be a nerd, stay strong out there, my friends.